Better? Better. Eddie Vedder. Hello, Crystal. I love the frame, by the way. That is possibly the sweetest thing I've ever seen. It's so... Oh. Did the cats turn out all right? To start off, do you want to hear what I heard going down the street? There's a guy who's talking on the phone. This is a conversation. I just thought you should know because it gave me tremendous joy. I wrote it on my phone. What do you do for fun? We've discussed this before. The answer is always nothing. We should change that. Who knows what's gonna happen tonight? It's Friday and they are out on the town. The reason it's so endearing is because it was the type of conversation that sounded like that had never happened before, that they are very studious and they are going to go and get hammered or something. Probably not. I'll tell you a math joke. Me and Sky and Ian, we spent like 4 hours together working on math. They're like my favorite people to do math around. It's really quiet and everyone's focused, and then occasionally you'll look over to someone else and you'll be like, oh, how did you do that? It's nice. Anyway, I was asking them a question, which is most of the time it's me asking the questions. And Sky was like, yeah, you could just make them two fractions and then integrate them. But she didn't mean take the integral, she just meant to put them together. And then Ian was like, whoa, take the integral, right? And then she's like, oh, sorry, I just meant the normal version of that word. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's just that it's derivative of another word we know. And then Ian was like, oh, Rachel, you need to know your limits. I felt so proud to be there. Anyway, the same thing happens in physics all the time. Like, they'll have variables with a little O on them, means not. And so it'll be like P naught, and it sounds like a French person being like, no, 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 darling, P naught. I don't know why that's so funny. And there's one time it was a Y, and it was not. The teacher said it, and me and Ian looked at each other right away. We're like, why not? Just botched another assignment, but you know how that is. You don't actually, Madame Mademoiselle 4.0. But the accent thing with your teacher, first of all, that's hilarious. And second of all, that sucks. Have you ever done this? If you're like one-on-one with the teacher, like asking them a question, or in class, and they look at you, do you ever pretend to be counting? Do you ever kind of like look up and you're like, in office hours, he was like, what's 1 plus 6 minus 4 plus 6, I don't know, but it was just like a string, and he was like trying to get someone to, like, it wasn't like, oh, this is so complicated, but he was just like, quick, can someone sum that up for me? And then I kind of started, and then he looked at me, and I was like, oh shit, and I gotta keep counting in my head, and then I was like, at what moment do I stop counting and tell him that it's too much for me? How long must I sit here going? As soon as he looked at me, that's when everything stopped, and I was just thinking about looking like I was thinking. It was rough. I miss you. Don't worry about the Sherlock. It took me a while to see them as well. You will not be disappointed. Nothing else will be said. Don't worry. That's awesome. How long has that been there? Oh, and it's darker now. There's so much room to move around in. Okay, mini rant. Have you ever been trying to focus on something but you're in a public area? So, I mean, you can't expect, you know, silence. But you're working. I mean, at the U of A, there's chairs and tables and couches and wonderful places to do work. Like, everywhere you turn, there's a little nook for you to sit down and do work, and no one's going to judge you if you just kind of plop down, you know? You can even plop down in the hallways, like, not in the middle, but like on the sides, depending on which hallway. Never mind, forget that. Have you ever been trying to do work at, like, a table, kind of, in public? You really, I know, you can't expect them to be quiet, but when people talk really loudly on their cell phones, do they not care that everyone can hear their conversation? There's a kid, he's sitting there on his phone, just not even doing work. Anyway, he's sitting there, and then like loud dubstep is coming out. I was like, are you kidding? And the next thing you know, his phone goes on, because I was trying to finish an assignment really quickly. And then his phone rings, and he's like, hey! Hey! Like really loudly. So loudly! You coming over here? No, man, no. No, I'll be there. Like, just really, okay, cool. We know you're leaving to go somewhere and meet someone. If I wanted to murder him, which I kind of did at the time, I know his plan of action for the next few minutes. You know? I could meet where his friend is going to meet, murder his friend, wait for him, and then kill him too. Well, over the top. But if I wanted to, that could easily happen. I made a friend. It was really freaking adorable. She came to school. She's all dressed up. She's got like a blue little dress on and like really cool flower leggings, and she never has makeup on. She put makeup on, and we're like, "Oh, you're so fancy. Why, you look so beautiful today." And she's like, "I'm just going on a date with my boyfriend." "How long have you been dating your boyfriend?" 1 year! And she still gets all fancy up. Oh, how cute is that? I bet you he's going to dress up too. Oh, it's too dark to continue. Mwah! Bye, Crystal. We've discussed this. Nothing. Shit. What do you do for fun? We've discussed this before. What do you do for fun? What do you do before? How do you do it? It's hard to match the quality of your videos, to be honest. They're really good.